SmackDown Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from the previous episode of SmackDown, Raw, and or PLEs. And a hot take on bacon is when bacon splatters on you while it's being fried up, it splatters on you the grease. Well, that just shows you that love hurts, but in the end, it's worth it. All right, let's get going with the Truth Man. The segment with Carmelo Hayes was absolutely awful. I mean, why present him as a cocky new-gen superstar just to shower him in lame sauce and make him cut one of the driest promos of his career? I want to quote something from it, but all I can remember is him saying that him and Miz are even. Why was that decision even made? What did we do? What did you do to my boy, Carmelo Hayes? Carmelo Hayes should be a cocky upstart dude. Okay, we're about to turn him face. That's fine, but we don't need to just have him suddenly, you know what, we're even, we're cool, don't worry about it, Miz. What? Oh my gosh, where's the animosity? Where's the hatred? Like, dude, is that it? Like, if you're a face, do you have to be just completely just white meat? I respect you. I'm just happy to be here. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And to be honest with you, even Jacob Fatu went up to Cody Rhodes last week and was like, he like fist pounded him or something. And it's like, I just Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Eddie Guerrero. I said this in my one take, one shot. They still had a lot of what made them awesome as a heel, and they were able to do it as a face. Like, this is not the Melo that I've been asking for him to be pushed for about a year. This Melo I saw last night, I get it. It was a 60-second promo yesterday, but like, if that's the harbinger of things to come, then I don't want to see it. Don't come at me and say, oh, well, you guys begged for Carmelo to be pushed, and then when he's pushed, you don't like him. This is not the Carmelo Hayes that I have been begging to push. The Carmelo Hayes that I have been begging to push is the put the fries in the bag, you're washed Carmelo Hayes. What I saw last night was just like, it was a watered down Cody Rhodes. Full gallon Cody Rhodes is too much I respect you, and just smiles as he walks in. I don't want to see all smiles Carmelo Hayes. I want to see him. I want to see a Carmelo Hayes that is cocky and still amazing and awesome. Look at Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio is getting cheered now. Why? He hasn't changed anything about his character, but he's getting cheered. So, like, if we were to instantly just have Dominic then start coming out and saying, no longer cheating, just respecting everybody. Yeah, there's still going to be some people that like him, but like, that's not what we want from Dom. Dom's character is what we want as a face. And we wanted the put the fries in the bag Carmelo Hayes character as a face. I get it. He's going to have great matches and stuff, but like, everybody can have great matches. Not everybody can have great characters. Carmelo Hayes actually has a great character, but we're taking that away from him to turn him face. Like, quite honestly, we shouldn't even be really turning him face. We never really explored him as a heel. He barely got any time since being called up as the first round draft pick of SmackDown. But, okay, fine, turn him face. Let's just see if that works. But don't take away his character. I understand changes have to happen, but like, yesterday, I respect you. We're even. Like, how? This is wrestling. This is freaking wrestling. You're allowed to crash out on people you don't like in wrestling, and that's what makes it cool and exciting. I'm like literally tongue-tied at how simple and easy the concept of wrestling is, and how like Triple H just keeps making it just the opposite of that. It's like he goes out of his way to make it boring. I don't get it. I don't get, well, there's 52 weeks a year and we gotta write TV, blah, 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 blah. There's been 52 weeks a year since the Attitude Era, even before that, and somehow, some way, they were able to make the Attitude Era very, very interesting. The Ruthless Aggression Era, very, very interesting. But suddenly now, there's 52 weeks a year, and so we have to draw things out forever. We have to nerf things. We have to just make everything about respect, make everything. I don't understand. There's no reason whatsoever that Carmelo Hayes, I get it, maybe he has to find his footing as a babyface, but that was just atrocious. That was a pre-taped segment also, so they could have reshot that if they wanted to. It was like, it wasn't atrocious in that it was like bad. It was atrocious in that it was forgettable and lame, like Truth Man said. Like, what did I get? We're even? Why are, like, how does that make me want to see them fight in the future? He should have been talking smack about the Miz. He should have been saying, "You're old, Miz. I'm not. I'm the future. You were trying to ride my coattails." Do I believe that? No. But the character Carmelo Hayes should believe it. As a babyface or as a heel, it doesn't matter. So I don't know. I very much, I'm probably like, people are probably gonna be like, whoa, you're really crashing out over a 60-second segment. Well, fine, then give him 5 minutes. How about that? So yeah, I disagree with the direction they're taking Carmelo Hayes, but I do agree with the direction they're taking Jade Cargill. So let's talk on that. Let's cleanse our palate with some actual good character development, and we'll go with Bishop Marley saying Jade turning heel is the best thing to happen to Tiffany's run since WrestleMania. And you're like, wait a second, what do you mean Tiffany's run? We're talking about Jade. To be a good champion, you need a good adversary. And Tiffany's run, let's be honest, the only time it got that interesting was when she fought Charlotte Flair. Woo! And they went off the rails. But like, has Tiffany had a really interesting title run? No. And if Jade Cargill now being an actual adversary, heel, the Joker to her Batman, well, that will make Tiffany's run interesting. Now, I really hope, though, that Jade ends Tiffany's run, and at Saturday's main event, she wins the title, and then they can continue feuding. I had some guy recently comment. If you say anything bad about, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, the fact that you said something bad about Tiffany shows that you know nothing. She's the only champion that is worth anything right now. I find those comments hilarious, honestly. So all you gooners, feel free to keep throwing those kind of comments at me. They really do entertain me. Hank E. says, I was kind of disappointed that Priest interrupted the U.S. title match. I thought his feud with Black was over and that Black would move on to a feud for the U.S. or WWE Championship. Not saying that Priest and Black won't deliver another good match, just feels like their feud had already ran its course and now WWE is extending it for no reason. Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to bring in Lola Vice and it's going to be Priest and Lola Vice versus Black and Zelina Vega, but yeah, their feud, it had come to a logical conclusion. It was a last man standing match, and it should have been over. So, yeah, plus they literally did this a couple weeks ago with Sami Zayn when he interrupted or distracted Black on that one. So, yeah, it was kind of disappointing that the U.S. match was interrupted by Damian Priest. But Damian Priest won't interrupt this U.S. title giveaway. No, he will not. All you got to do, well, let's do it quick, though, just in case he does barge in. So, before Damian Priest interrupts this contest, please comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification, and you can win said belt on my shoulder. Trying to quit the day job, you can win. Help me out. Get to 20,000 subscribers, and I'll pull a random winner from a random comment from a random video on a live stream. So you know I'm telling the truth. Already gave 2 away. Let's continue on. Dark Kenja says Jade should have always been a heel. I do agree with that statement as well. I think she should have came in and was just like super obnoxious, trying to be bigger than who she was. Like, she should have just been so full of herself, calling everybody fat, and just like, That would have been amazing and awesome. I wish she would have also went to NXT, but she didn't, and I think being a heel would have hid some of the weaknesses as she grew, but you know what? Better late than never. I'm glad we're finally here. KD of Squad says, I'm glad Jade turned heel. Give her the title so we can have a good woman rivalry on SmackDown. Yep, I agree. And then we got Tiz Mickey. I'm so glad they turned Jade Cargill heel. I'm very happy that everybody is like, I've been defending Jade Cargill for so long now. I felt like I was becoming one of the only people, so it's refreshing to actually hear positive comments about Jade, because I think she has so much potential. I'm so glad they turned Jade Cargill heel. I've been asking for it since she came to WWE, but I wish it happened in front of a better crowd. These people acted like they didn't care at all. LOL. I think this was a pretty weak crowd, actually. There was something else that happened last night that I was just like, wow, this crowd is not reacting. I think it might have been Ilja Dragunov when he was trying to give a speech. It was just very, very dead. They did eventually win them over during their match, but yeah, the crowd just was not having it last night. Ferroja says, now Jade's finisher being named Jaded makes more sense. Yeah, just the prophecy is complete now. Yeah, I am going to just be all in on this Jade Cargill. I think whatever the reason is, she just comes across as a heel, and like I think she's gonna be perfect in AEW. I know sacrilege to praise AEW. She was way better as a character there. She has room to grow, I do agree there, but as a heel, you can hide so many things. Like Paul Heyman used to do in ECW. You hide the weaknesses, you exploit, or you showcase is a better word, you showcase the strengths, and she can go crazy now. And honestly, I think people have been hard on her. Her matches, I've actually enjoyed most of her matches since becoming a single star. And don't say like, oh, well, what about that botch fest from a couple weeks ago where she got that scar that she's kind of making part of her character now? She was the only one who didn't botch. She was the only one who did it. Nia's the one that threw her into those steps, and Nia has a history of doing that because she did that to Kairi Sane way back when. Tiffany missed the spot where she was supposed to break up the pin, which then caused the timing to go wrong, where Nia then didn't kick out of the next time Tiffany tried to pin her, and then the ref should have counted to 3, but didn't, because the ref knew that the spot wasn't happening. But did you notice something? I said it was the ref's fault. I said it was Tiffany's fault. I said it was Nia's fault. Never in there was it Jade's fault. I think Jade gets a bad rap, and fine, whatever. Let's use that hate that people have against her for her, because hate her all you want now. She can use that to become better. The only thing that would make it better if Brandy Rhodes was her manager. All right, Sky, Wonder Wolf. Cody is the one who attacked Jacob because he is adamant that it was Drew. You know what? I am going to steal this. There's another wrestling channel out there that I really enjoy. It's called Assemble Wrestling. He pointed out that when Cody was doing his interview today, and he did this last week also, when Drew McIntyre started kind of pointing the finger at Cody, Cody was like, enough, like he wouldn't let him speak. Therefore, what if Drew was onto something and Cody only crashes out the moment he's being blamed for this attack? So maybe there is something to it. It's probably going to be Randy Orton, but you never know. Maybe it's Jimmy Uso, and he did it for The Rock. And Assemble Wrestling, I do recommend his channel. But be warned, we actually have a lot of the same opinions, but I think he's more chill, and I'm just like, Carmelo Hayes, they're ruining him. WTF Patch says, is it just me, or does anyone feel like today's SmackDown was just meh? The first hour I thought was meh. meh, but then it did get better. I gave it 6 chops out of 10. The Jade Cargill stuff was definitely the stuff that made it. I probably, if they wouldn't have completely nerfed Carmelo Hayes' personality, I probably would have gave it a 7. But like, I really hated that. Only on twice, though. FT Balik says, Braun Breaker is in the main event scene. Tiffany Stratton is in the main event scene. Ilja is a champion. Lyra, the first ever IC champion. Julie is a champion, too. And Carmelo Hayes is having a match with Kit Wilson. This just ain't fair to what they're doing with Carmelo. Terrible. I mean, like, it's like, I thought it was cool that he was getting a feud with The Miz. I'm okay with the feud with The Miz over a championship match or a championship. Like, if you don't have a story to go with your championship, you might as well not have a championship, a la Julia. But now that I'm seeing this feud between Miz and Carmelo, where we're even, we're cool, don't worry about it. Like, yeah, I'm kind of eating those words because that sucks. And he's right. Why is all these other NXT guys and gals just jumping the line like Carmelo? Like, no shade on Kit Wilson either. No shade on Kit Wilson. I'm actually very much enjoying the Kit Wilson character. But let's be honest, Kit Wilson is here and Carmelo should be here. I'm not even saying Carmelo should be here. I mean, I think he should, but I'm saying Carmelo should at least be here in that pecking order and not having a feud with Kit Wilson. And, we got TTJC. My take is more channel divergent than a hot take, so he's about to disagree with me. Well, I mean, I'm not even going to read it. If you're going to disagree with me, you might as well just unsubscribe and delete your YouTube account. I'm kidding. On this channel, we are allowed to disagree with one another, and let's see what TTJC has to say. I think Melo's promo was perfect. All right, get off the channel. No. Miz hasn't done anything to warrant Melo's ire because all he did was cost Melo a title shot, so Melo did the same. All right, so the conversation does go on. It's a kind of a long post, but that's basically it. He just feels that, that he did draw the ire. I'm going to be honest with you, TTJC. Maybe I'm just an old dude and I expect hatred in my wrestling. I don't know how old you are, okay? I don't know what era of wrestling you come from. I do know that you do have a pretty decent wrestling IQ from conversations that we've had. But to me, I remember one time Kane, I think it was with Chris Jericho. Literally a feud started because Chris Jericho spilled coffee on him. Kane would probably try to set someone on fire for that. Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could look at Stone Cold Steve Austin wrong, and that would be enough for a can of whoop butt. He literally crashed out on someone because he didn't like their tattoo. So, like, for Miz to cost Melo a title shot, that's like a capital crime from my days of the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression. I get it. We're no longer in those eras, and maybe, hey, you know what? Maybe this is the evolved WWE that Kit Wilson is fighting for. I'm gonna be not part of that WWE, or I'm gonna speak up against it. I didn't grow up in the Attitude Era. I grew up in the golden age of the 80s, kind of, sort of. Like, WrestleMania 5 was my first. So I've seen multiple generations of wrestling. So I'm not just saying, oh, well, if it was done in the Attitude Era, then that's gospel, okay? No, the Attitude Era had a lot of bad things going for it as well. Definitely glad that we have no more hands being birthed. But that said, like, I've never seen an era where there's so much respect. What is it? C-Jax, doesn't he say the Gratitude Era? There you go. Let me, I'm shouting out just really nice, chill YouTubers like Assemble Wrestling, but now I'm shouting out like very aggressive, hate-watching wrestling channels like C-Jax. So, like, I'm all over the place with my tastes, but, like, I've never seen the Gratitude Era like this, and just like, no, we're cool, we're good, dude, we're chill. Like, to me, No, but TTJC, that doesn't mean your opinion is like not valid. It means it's your opinion. Just like this is my opinion, and I thank you for sharing it. Schlupp says, great overall SmackDown, but why is Damian Priest and Aleister Black feud still going on? It's like every time Damian is in a rivalry, it drags out until he eventually wins. First Drew, now Aleister. Yeah, you're kind of right, actually. Like... Damian Priest loses the feud. He lost at WrestleMania. He lost at the Last Man Standing match, and he's like, no, we're going to keep going on. Eventually, I'm going to win. When I win, the feud's over. So, like, Damian Priest is mine. He can win. He can lose 50 times, but all he has to do is win that last one, and then he's like, yeah. I'm Wappa, or I forget, not sure exactly how you say that, but all rise, I finally won. Joe Litton, Solo Sikoa interrupting Cody was well done. It means everybody is on notice, including Cody. It was well done, and then it was poorly executed. Because in the beginning, Cody's out there with Jimmy, and Solo comes out with the MFTs, and it's like, oh, cool, we're going to have a moment, even a stare down, something. But no, then we cut to commercial, and then Cody's just gone. So, honestly, I think it was kind of lame. I want Solo to be putting Cody on notice. Everyone on notice. Solo should be intimidating everybody. But for just like... Yeah, I mean, and then it's not even mentioned. There's nothing, there's no, like, show us that stare down, show us something. But no, I think it had nothing. I think it was like a big old tease. Donatello Leonardo says, Triple H got rid of the Jade and Tiffany respect and realized he needed to replace the respect feud stock, so he went and neutered our boy Melo. Yeah, it's like, we got all this respect between Jade and Tiffany. Where do we put it? Melo, make him respect people. That'll get him over. Money on Repeat says, I really think the U.S. title should get a hot shot between Black and Ilja and Melo until it ends in a triple threat for that belt. Imagine that match. Yeah, that would be a great match. But it needs story. That's it. It needs story. I'm okay with a U.S. Open challenge. Like, that's the story, but at this point, Melo winning a title should actually be a story as well. Melo needs to say, I've sat on my butt for 2 years. I'm taking names now, and I'm winning championships. And not shaking hands with every opponent on his way to that belt. JT Other OC. LOL, they're bringing in the GOD, that's Gorillas of Destiny from New Japan. It was Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, and they're bringing in the GOD with Jeff Cobb instead of Tonga Loa. Yeah, why are they doing that? And if you don't know who Jeff Cobb is, the J is the J, and the C is the C in JC Mateo. Hate that name. Jeff Cobb was his name in New Japan. And it's like, why are we doing that? Let Tonga Loa be in the GOD. Alfonso Passion, I'm the only one that noticed that even though Cody apologized for his actions, he's still doubting himself and being angry because he did his whole enough segment on Drew, even though Drew was telling the truth. Well, allegedly telling the truth, but no, you did not. You're not the only one who noticed. Assemble Wrestling did too. And talked about it earlier. Then we also have Alfonso Pasha saying, can we appreciate Jimmy for helping Jay versus Gunther at WrestleMania and the whole bloodline, and now helping Cody versus Drew get more interesting? I hope he gets his time on top, because he does everything to help others and elevating others. And what's really cool about that is that that's him as an actual person. When you listen to Jimmy talk like on interviews about Jey Uso's ascension to the main event, it's almost like he gets emotional, welled up because he's so happy for his brother. Babs is here. SmackDown main event scene is weak. Let's see, what is the main event scene in SmackDown? You got Cody Rhodes, you got Drew McIntyre, you had Jacob, he'll probably be back in a month or two, and whenever they decide to make Randy Orton come back to look at Cody's belt, that is the main event scene right now. So what do you guys think, Gales? What do you think? Tell me, is the main event scene weak? Fresh and Fly says, Drew hasn't held the WWE Championship since 2020. Give him the title he's earned. earned it. It would also be something fresh. I agree. Then we've got it's OTW. I saw a comment saying Melo going to be the next Alex Shelley, and I dropped down to my knees in anguish. No shade on Alex Shelley. He is really good, part of the Motor City Machine Guns, but I think Carmelo Hayes will be able to eclipse him. Hopefully. Kid Wilkes says, props to the creative team for letting Kiana James have a match longer than 10 seconds. I agree. We need to let her have more longer matches, but she had a long match against the wrong opponent. If Kiana James had fought Meacham for 10 minutes, maybe I wouldn't have been invested in it because both characters haven't really got much going for them, but it would have been better than Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton is supposed to be your top babyface, a very dominant champion, and for her to have a 10-minute match with Kiana James, who is, Kiana James is down here, no disrespect, she has to work her way up, but Tiffany is up here. Like, literally, it should have been a 3 to 4 minute match. Now, give Kiana James someone else not so high on the card, and fine, whatever. But not against your top champion. We got, he also says he would love to make SmackDown 2.5 to 3 hours. We're not on the same page today. I'm very happy with a 2-hour SmackDown, to tell you the truth. And then we've got Jimbo Slice saying Kit Wilson is definitely maximizing his minutes. I look forward to his toxic masculinity gimmick every week. Hope he has a good match next week. I do enjoy Kit Wilson, even though I don't think he's on the level of Carmelo Hayes right now. I enjoy it. However, today I think it was misplaced. For him to say, Carmelo, you're being toxic, how is Carmelo being toxic? He was literally saying, I'm even. I'm not going to let my hatred overcome my senses. So, Kit Wilson should be directing his toxic masculinity stuff to Damian Priest still. Why are you trying to get even with Aleister Black? That's toxic. Melo's not trying to get even. He said they are even. So I think it was misplaced here, but I do like the character. Mob says Carmelo's segment was boring, in quotes. Carmelo hasn't cut a face promo in years and not at all on the main roster. So I think this is a critique on my critique of Melo's segment being boring. Because I think I said it in the live chat. I definitely said it in my one take, one shot. My argument to this, so you're making an excuse. He hasn't cut a face promo in years. He's not, he hasn't been on the main roster. He has never done one on the main roster. That's no excuse, honestly. This was a pre-taped segment. If the segment sucked, if the segment was boring, don't air it. Redo it. So that's my thoughts on that. I mean, I'm glad you have an opinion, and thank you for your opinion, but I just don't agree with it. Ryan Creasy says, didn't watch. Well, Ryan Creasy, are you watching this? Comment if you're actually watching this, because if you're not, then I'm not going to do hot takes with you anymore. If you're not going to watch the product and then not watch hot takes, then there's no reason to actually read your comments in the future. So just let me know if you're actually watching. Then we've got JTF. All this desperation booking is stupid. WWE backed themselves into a corner. I'm not sure what desperation booking you're talking about here. Now, if you're talking about Jade turning heel, to me, that seems logical. If you're talking about Brock Lesnar coming out of nowhere at SummerSlam, that's desperation. If you're talking about AJ Lee returning for 3 weeks just so she could take 2 months off because they need to advertise WrestlePalooza, that's desperation booking to me. Don't have AJ Lee come until she can have an extended time frame. You knew she had a book tour. Don't book her before her book tour. So if it depends on what you're actually calling desperation booking. W Potato says Cody Rhodes feels like he's holding something back, but before he can say it, he just says, "You wanna fight?" Yeah, what's he holding? What's the lane between? What's he hiding between this veil of just his respect and smiles? You want to fight? Enough! I got a bunch of you will comment on the appearance of the female wrestlers. If you're unwilling to comment on the looks of the male wrestlers, I'm not going to read your comments on the female wrestlers, guys. Quit being gooners and let's appreciate characters and ability. I bet Kit Wilson would be proud of me for saying that. We got Long Neck. I'm glad Jade went heel, but personally, I think she went way too far. What do you mean way too far? I don't think she went far enough. I think she should have made Tiffany bleed like she bled, in my opinion. We got then, I really hope Jade, this is from Million Matthew, I really hope that Drew wins the title. Why does WWE fail to use stars when they are in their prime? Well, don't worry. Drew McIntyre just got a good movie role. I think that Drew will be Hollywood bound probably sooner than later, and then ironically WWE will start trying to push him. When he lessens his availability, they'll probably put the rocket on him. And then finally from Million Matthew, he says, why don't WWE end storylines? Last time I checked, a last man standing match was supposed to be a feud ender. This is not long-term story. This is not long-term booking. This is lazy booking. You're right. He's talking about Damian Priest and Aleister Black. Like, that's a last man standing match. There's nothing after that. That's it. We're done. Finito. Unless it's going to be a Hell in the Cell. Like, it needs to escalate. The next match needs to be like a 3 stages of hell match at this point, because the last man standing match is a finisher, a feud finisher. So, like, I don't know. We'll see. But, like, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. They can't just have a regular, standard, run-of-the-mill match at this point. But I don't know. Maybe we're just old men yelling at clouds and old women yelling at clouds. I don't know. Wrestling to me is easy to book, and yet sometimes I look at it and I'm like, what in the chat GPT are they doing? All right, boys. All right, girls. Those are your hot takes for SmackDown yesterday, whatever it was. See ya. Bye.